The things that you learn in these 2 years at expert problem, if you forget everything else, I said, remember this. Probably the rank that you get is a byproduct for life. The life that you get is the product of expert. You understand this? You will never be at a time in your life where you get exactly the pay you want, exactly the job you love, exactly the hours you want, and the vacations when you want, where you want. That will never happen. You should come out of that delusion that out of that delulu, that you should aspire for something like that. It would be prudent to plan something realistic. This Korean is my mother campus for expert. Because my first few classes, yeah. No empathy for that guy. Oh, there are two cats playing around with that. See, look at your ADHD. No concentration, no focus at all. Two cats come, lost one. So much emphatic message I'm trying to give. Two Billies are enough. Or maybe Billy and Billa. We'll have to observe closely. No. Medical people, no, we have to see and we have to decide. Okay, so now in that situation, Jesus Christ's message of being peaceful, keeping anticipation, and following some guidelines of hard work manifests in the generations to come. He is happy. He doesn't want you to cut the cake and sing jingle bells. You can as a byproduct. In the same way, if you get a rank, we are very happy. But if you have a very good molded life, expert will be very happy that it has produced enough experts. Christmas message. Thank you. Hearing all sorts of things when we came to your principal's chamber, right from the blues reel to collaborating and other things. I hope we have not come and stopped. We can continue after this also. I think it is very moving and overwhelming for an expert to come back to expert and to share some more time with you. I mean, we have probably never met before, but you should remember this because one of you will be doing this several years from now. One of you will be what expert wants from you, what you want from expert, and if you be, all of you will be expert alumni. But if you become a little better alumni than the alumni, if you become something that you are remembered for, you can probably do something like this where when you come, you bring along your wife, your mom, your brother, and it gives a sense of pride to your institution and your family. It's a nice feeling. Now, at the time that I was taking education and inspiration from expert, I was part of expert coaching classes. There was no PU college. There was expert coaching classes. My elder brother is also an alumnus of expert. And I did my PU from St. Aloysius. My brother did it from Aloysius. My dad is from Aloysius. And we used to come here because for the little time that we get here, we believed, or at least I personally believed, that we get more dense information and dense education. I'm not saying that the colleges or even expert PU colleges in any way less dense, but for the time you spend here in the classroom, you should imbibe more and assimilate more so that one day it will manifest better. So you should think of it like this. Anyway, you are grounded for 2 years. Anyway, you cannot, exit after first year. So you might as well make the most of this time. So I also appreciate that you have a break like this in the name of Christmas. So good that Jesus was born at some time. Good that we have a Lord Ganeshan. Good that there is Allah. So you at least whether you are very strong, staunch religious believers or not, at least you get a break. for some benefit. India is a very good country that way. Many of you will probably want to go abroad where they give you a set holiday. But India always get a break middle of the year because we have many religions. It's a good advantage. Many of you, as you advance in your careers, will have to come to a crossroads where you choose whether you want to work here or whether you want to go abroad. One bonus is if you work in India, settle in India, probably expert will call you one day you can come. It's very difficult to call somebody overseas to come here. He'll say, why have to pay so much on the flight just to come on a Sunday and go back. So I think that is a slight small perk if you have bonding with your institution. 3 years ago, I had spoken to experts like yourself at the Valachil campus, 2022. And 10 days before that, St. Aloysius Primary School, where the students were not of your caliber and wisdom, but they were like tiny, probably a little more wisdom than us, because as we all age and we are taught, we lose common sense. But the little small children, and it was very overwhelming to be there. Likewise, it is nice that because Valachil was not my mother campus, this Kodiyalbel is my mother campus for expert. Because my first few classes, my first few classes were opposite the Canberra College, opposite SDM, where I think you guys don't visit anymore, even for nostalgic purposes. It's like I presently work at Father Muller Medical College. We have a Father Muller Museum, where Mullerians seldom visit. Only people who come from outside will go and see that and go out. We do go out to our work and we come back, we hardly ever visit. That is our mother. Then we had the classrooms and vast chambers, where we had, our teachers. Then my maximum promotion was up to the building there outside where it is written 38 glorious years. This campus, unfortunately, I did not have the privilege of attending. But today, indirectly, I have come here. I'm very happy to be part of you guys. Now, there are many people in your batch, day scholars who are like at home, and you will be feeling, we also could have got a day off. They are nicely sleeping whole morning. We have to get up and celebrate us. But what would you rather do? In medicine, you learn once you're in sleep, you're either in REM sleep or non-REM sleep. You're not aware of the time lapse. You know from inception or from some basic reading. So, whatever you do when you're awake, or like Kicha Sudeep says in some movie, that anyway, all of us are going to be dead one day. So, sleep is just a preview of that. So, you might as well do more when you are alive. So, it's better to attend something, be a part of a social gathering, than be in a room and just be happy that you didn't have to do anything. Or like Shah Rukh Khan says, all of us script that we have so much work, so much to study, our schedule is out of time and things. But it is far more difficult to be unemployed, not have anything to do, and search to do something, than be employed or be studying and have a lot to do. You will never be at a time in your life where you get exactly the pay you want, exactly the job you love, exactly the hours you want, and the vacations when you want, where you want. That will never happen. You should come out of that delusion that out of that delulu, that you should aspire for something like that. It would be prudent to plan something realistic. So in that way, you should know that you should divide your time, assign your time so that you make the most of it. Now you are spending 1 hour or 2 hours something for this. You have practiced and prepared, let's say, a few hours. You have made friends, you have shared memories. Chances are 20 years from now you will not remember that you slept today. You'll remember maybe that you attended a Christmas program. It's worth a memory, at least, if nothing else. I would go one step further and say, probably it's the day scholars' loss that they are not able to share a nice social gathering. And you need not feel that everybody are damn happy at their home. Probably at their home, many of them are doing this from what they have to listen. And probably you guys are making stronger bonds staying in the hostel and being part of the institution wholly. Okay? Now coming to Christmas, I should not go on giving gyan about expert alone, because that you guys already are getting. No? So I will tell you a little bit about Christmas. In fact, in the invitation card 3 years ago, Professor Narendra Naik had written Xmas celebration, then he wrote as EX, M-A-S. You know, Christmas is also written as Xmas, X-M-A-S. X is because, why is it called X? You know why is it called Xmas? X stands for Christ, but why Christ? Christ was not a mathematician, no? To say find X and we'll call it Xmas. So it's actually from the Greek letter chi. That is the 22nd of the 24 Greek letters. In physics and maths, you know a lot of Greek. If you want to do some co-curricular time pass, don't go too much. If you learn the 24 letters of Greek, it will seem a little cool. If you can say something more than alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, or something else, it will sound like you say mu, lambda, chi, and towards the last it gets all funny. It's easy to say alpha and omega, but you should know the letters in between. So the 22nd is actually chi, and in Greek it is the first letter of Christ, because chi, Christ. And Mass stands for the old Latin word of Mass, where actually Mass is a Catholic gathering for celebration. But I think the word in that is not Catholic, the word is gathering. So a gathering of people, a community of people builds a lot more than individuals, in general, time tested, before religions. In fact, Jesus Christ was born into a Jewish family, he was not a Christian. After him, there is something called Christianity. So he was actually born into a family of another religion, and it is the community that makes the religion, not the person necessarily. If there are no people, then there is no Christianity, there is only Christ. Same way for every festival. Now you say Krishna Janmashtami, you celebrate the birth of Lord Krishna. All religions should celebrate Krishna Janmashtami, because it's not you believe whether Krishna is a god or not, but you believe that a very nice, friendly, affable person was born one day, which is true for all little children. Children born in medical terms are like pluripotent cells. They have infinite capacity. Society and rules will mold you to become just like you guys. So when you come to Christmas per se, it is yesterday when me and my family attended the Mass at Fatima Retreat House. We had a Father Paul who came from Kohima, from Nagaland. The Fatima Retreat House has a tradition of getting a guest priest every year for Christmas. He's a Mangalorean, but he's working in the Northeast, and he said that Christmas often is said as a feast of peace, a feast of love, but it's also a feast of anticipation. And now anticipation is a very deep word. Anticipation at the time of Christ was Mother Mary expecting whether this delivery will go well or not. He mentioned to us yesterday in the Mass that there was no midwife, there was no doctor, there was no nurse, there was no hospital, and she just delivered. Now many of you think it's a natural process, but if something were to go wrong, there was no one to help. Okay? So now we all line you up and you ask what you want to become in the future. There is a certain set of people who, one girl who will say I want to become a housewife, and one boy who will say I want to become the husband of that girl. That is also a very good career option, if that is your whole 24 hours. But then you can't do khana pina sona, you can maximum do sona, but you can't do khana pina, you won't have any sona. So for that reality, anticipation is really worrisome even for the mother of God in the form of, in the Bible. But you guys are also at that precipice in your life. You are in a position of anticipation. You do not know what your engineering and your medical rank will be when you pass out the portals of expert. You may feel 2 years I've studied here and then I'll leave and then it's done. But what will it be later? You do not know. You may put all your effort now. You may have a few breaks, you may then remember you have to study, you may have to have an exam, but you do not know what the final rank will be. So anticipation is a time where you are given some time to reflect profoundly and see what lies in the future. Out of interest, in this gathering, how many of you want to become neither an engineer nor a doctor? Something else. One example is your chairperson, Professor Narendra Naik. He's a mechanical engineer, but he's not doing any mechanical engineering here, no? Doctor from NIT. Here is there. So how many of you want to become not a doctor, not an engineer? Some. Maybe something like a 4%. How many of you want to become something in the medical field, doctor or researcher? They just because I am giving the talk, I think. Yes. How many of you want to strongly become an engineer, a tech person? A reasonable. Okay. So I'll give you one. I just had to gauge the crowd because I should not give medical examples if no one wants to take up the profession. You know, now they say with the harassment against bullying against doctors and all, you should develop martial arts and physical defense first. But there is a little lower of proportion as medium. Okay, that doesn't happen. If you are very good, I think that we were just discussing with the top layer of pass outs, the very well studied, well performing people, usually don't face much trouble. Of course, there's a large number who is not the same class you realize, but experts usually produce a lot of very good students, very good professionals. You shouldn't have that trouble. In later parts of your career, you may have something where you have to be very devoted to your field. I'll put it something like the ABCs of this. So the A being anticipation, the B being baby Jesus, or boy Jesus rather. You are all like something like boy Jesus, where you are in a situation where you have to do good to your work, but if you do a little more, if you are a little precocious, a little better for your age than the rest, you will fare far better. Not that you will start a religion again after 2000 years, but you did your field. So there is a chapter, there is a verse in the Bible where in Luke chapter 2 verse 49, where Mother Mary and Joseph took Jesus to the temple in Jerusalem because they were living in Nazareth. And when they came back, because men and women had to go separately, just like here in Muslim functions, if you have any of your Muslim friends' weddings, males and females go separately. In Jews also it's the same. They kept separately. When they came back, they could not find where this guy is, Jesus. I can say guy because that time he was not yet Jesus Christ. Where is he? And they like, what's up with this fellow? The parents got very worried. They spent a day searching down the path and they went a day back up. On the third day, they found Jesus teaching the priests, the puja is the sannyas equivalent of the Jews there. And Mother Mary asked him, look, what's up with you? Why are you troubling us? Couldn't you tell me or send a text message or something? And Jesus said, why are you all perplexed? Don't you know I should do my Father's work? It's common sense. He was like, DUX, duh. I should be here. Why are you searching for me down there? He was showing all that sass and attitude at that. But now we can't say that because he is Lord, but he actually said that at 12 years of age. Maybe he was acting like a teenager a little early because Jesus Christ is a little precocious. So he said that. So you guys are in that situation, like boy Jesus situation, where if someone were to find you and ask you, why did you choose to take the hostel here and not be home and you not be a day scholar, go out watch some movies and you should say, obviously we are joint expert to be an expert. So it is almost as happening, the same thing is happening again. And then you come to man Jesus, an extension of ABCs of Christmas, boy Jesus and man Jesus, where when he was in his ministry healing people, he came to a lake of Bethesda in John chapter 5 verse 5. He came to, I'm not a priest, I'm a married man, married to Karen, 1 year, 1 month now. But a little bit of knowledge from the Bible. John chapter 5 verse 5 says that there was a man lying by the lake of Bethesda and he was crippled on the floor, bedbound, for 38 years. Incidentally, 38 glorious years is affixed to your building, that's the age of expert. I do not know how suitable this Christmas celebration is. This cannot be said again. For 38 years precisely, he was crippled and by the lake, and he was believed by the Jews that if you go and touch that holy water of the lake, you will be healed. And he was asked, why don't you go? Why are you sitting like a cripple? Try crawling, go touch the water and become better. No. Don't simply beg arms on the road like how the people at the signal light in the future 2000 years from now. Somebody said it's that time. And he said, the moment I try to go, someone else comes, it's very crowded. Like Kumbh Mela, it's very crowded. I can't even reach the Holy Ganga or the lake Bethesda as was in that geography. Same principle, all religions. I cannot even touch it, so what can I do? And Jesus walked up to him and said, get up, pick up all your things and walk. And he stood up and walked, which is wonderful. But the problem is, Jesus was not aware of the then bureaucracy, which is there even now. Now you guys will become doctors, engineers and other professions, you'll do your work, but there is some Kadoo's fellow who will come and say what you did is not according to this particular clause and see, to trouble you. Same way, the Jews, actually not the Jewish people, the Jewish leaders came and asked him, you did this so-called miracle on a Sunday. And according to Jewish law, you're not supposed to work on a Sunday. I wish Jesus was a student of expert. He'd be like Sunday. Sunday. But that is Jesus did not know that expert will come and they will make you all, make the most of your time even on a Sunday. But Jesus said, no, my Father, that is again a little later in John chapter 5, my Father works all the time. So shouldn't I? There is a very clear reflection many years later, almost 20 years later, from Jesus at 12 and Jesus around 31, 32, where he quotes the same thing but with a different audience and a different scenario. It's not linked in the Bible, but if you look for it, the knowledge is there. Just like it's not there in the first part of the chapter in physics. But if you go further and read, the charges are there somewhere on the outer surface. But you should look in the right place. So Jesus says the same thing. Shouldn't I be working the whole time if my Father is working? Not just sitting in my Father's house. I wouldn't like to draw parallels with expert. But just sitting in the house may not manifest much. You can't say I was a householder for 2 years, how did I did not get a rank? If the Father is working all the time, God the Father, then you should too, on a Sabbath, on a Sunday. And to draw, not in any way related, but if you were to compare the efforts put by your chairperson, Professor Narendra, who in his absence you all should be grateful because they are all products of his vision after all. I am not putting Lepa or Maska and then sing it outright. I need not because I have already passed it many, many years ago. But it is beneficial for you to draw inspiration because in 1986-1987, when Narendra Nayak sir started Expert, in that small, Jesus born in a manger kind of place on the second floor of a building. Always when you want to start something, you want to start on the ground floor, the road facing. Unless you're a little short of cash or you're just starting off something, startup for the text. You'll be short of cash, no one wants to fund you. So you start with one classroom, small batch of students, 1986-1987. And you grow up to having a 35 to 50 acre campus and 3,500 students and now everybody says, oh, there must be crores of turnover. But no one came and he did not sit in the hot seat at Khanpari Gaurapati. It may not be the money that measures, but definitely it's a marker of success. I mean, you shouldn't deny it and be, hypocritical. Part of you is doing things to earn well, do well, live comfortably. So that when you book your seat in the theatre, you shouldn't say, I sit in the front row, I won't take the recliner. That much is comfort you should have. Otherwise, you study and slog so much and not do well, what's the point? So Narendra has started from a very low thing and he has reached this stage with a lot of perseverance because he worked day and night. We used to attend classes, occasionally we used to be late, and he used to give a look. It is more than enough, no enough comments, and we used to feel that. And that makes us more punctual. But if we are punctual and we are attending classes and sitting for let's say 8 hours together in a vacation batch or more, it means that somebody is sitting the rest of the day and preparing all those things. That time there were no 50, 60 faculty to prepare. He used to prepare all those things and get those printed and make it ready for us. But we wouldn't realize it then because we were like, what work we have to do. We didn't see the Shah Rukh Khan reel yet then. We used to only grumble about how much work we had to do. So much work. My dad, Mr. John Pinto, who passed away in 2017, also had started our small business in an also very equal thing at that time called Crystal Plywood in Uruva, Chirindi now. Now mom sits there and manages to carry it on. He also started very humbly at that level, a small shop on rent. And if you do remember in the other building and even in the original building in Vast Chambers, on the chairs, whatever this black wooden planks were, Mr. Narendra Nayak had bought from Mr. John Pinto at that time. It was a small thing, started off a small class. And he always said, when I joined Expert many years later, he said, see, the planks are still good because it should be quality wood. Same way you also should have some quality here. Otherwise, there's no point if you don't have anything there. And all these fellas. And in a way, it means that he has worked so much to have you guys have this opportunity to in turn work so much. Now, if you do not want to work much and you feel it's a burden, then you must be really bipolar to join Expert. in the first question, or you should bipolar to want a rank. Because no good can come of laziness and lack of diligence. So if Jesus Christ has to say, am I not to do my Father's work when He's working all the time? And if your chairperson, your faculties, all your lecturers, there are so many authors of textbooks who are faculties here, now or past. J3LC2026, who was the author of the Red Book in Chemistry, taught us in first and second year. So then, to write a book is not easy. I have at this stage, after all these years, managed to write around 9 chapters in textbooks of cardiology, but not written a book in cardiology. Very difficult to get something out of that. I feel very hard to claim a clap and then say I have not written a book. But J3LC has done that, and they have taught people like this. So you should realize, though you feel at your stage a lot you are doing, they are doing something not for exams, not for fame, just because they are very good at what they do, they carry on doing that. That should be your inspiration. The things that you learn in these 2 years at expert probably, and if you forget everything else, I say remember this. Probably the rank that you get is a byproduct for life. The life that you get is the product of expert. You understand this? Because the compulsion to sit long, you do not want to do it voluntarily. But if you start to enjoy your work and do it daily practice like that, just because I'll give one example, I won't take too much time, I'll give one last example. I'm a cardiologist, I'm an interventional cardiologist, I work at Park Minutes. Our usual training is to evaluate patients if they have cardiac disease or not. The onus of this is very great because if you bring your relative to me and if I tell them that he has no cardiac disease, ನಿಶ್ಚಿತವಾಗಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವರೊಂದು ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ತಿರ್ಚಿ ಪೋಯ ಮನೆ, if I tell them. And if that patient finally after 1 week has a cardiac event and is back to the hospital, how will I look? I have to remove this blazer, tie, shirt, everything. Don't imagine. I'm just saying, like, metaphorically. Look very bad. So, when you read, if you're a tech guy and if you design something, and after you release it, like the Aadhaar software of the country, if it has a glitch, how will you look like? The point is, if you're working at a particular level, the molding that you receive in a place like expert will carry that, and no one will ask your rank. Does it matter now? I was very happy when I got the 21st rank. There are 2 ways to look at it. One, didn't get first now. Call that fellow, we listen to him. It's one way. Second, let's say I got the 211th rank, but I reached here. Does it make any difference? Can I hold my rank now and ask for a raise? Can I hold my rank and get another job? It doesn't make much. So the rank is probably a byproduct, a very important byproduct. A very important byproduct. Like from sugarcane, do you want the bagasse or do you want the sugar? A very important byproduct. One is rank, one is life. So hard work, like God the Father, like Jesus Christ, like the faculty before you, like the students before you, is very important to mold you will become, not your rank. Jesus died at the age of 70. So he could not show many things later, potentially. So even at the time that he was there, he is remembered for 2,000 or even more years later. So it is the life that matters, not necessarily the rank. But the rank also matters. All this gyan, and if you get a very poor rank, probably you will not have an avenue to express what you have. It will be very difficult. There will be a very rare example where somebody didn't get a rank and became very successful. It's like a smoker who smoked for 40 years, he do a coronary angiogram, his coronary are normal. He'll go out and say, Dara mujhe mara hai. 40 years I've been smoking, that cardiologist. He is a rare example who is alive to speak that. Others are not in the Kabristan. So that is called biased information. They make the loudest noise. And we the public take that a lot. Same way a 90-year-old boy, absolutely healthy, pure vegetarian, has an MI, comes to the hospital, he put a stent in his heart, everyone remembers. But 60-year-old man has it, every day people come with a heart attack to every hospital in Bangalore. We have to do we get up in the middle of the night, put a stent, it takes about 45 minutes for the whole process. And no one remembers, because it's, I tell her, done. No empathy for that guy. Or there are 2 cats playing around at that time. See, look at your ADHD. No concentration, no focus at all. 2 cats come lost on. So much emphatic message I'm trying to give. 2 BDs are enough. Or maybe BD and Villa. We'll have to observe closely. No. Medical people, no, we have to see and we have to decide. Okay, so now in that situation where we have to go in the middle of the night, if me as a colonel, what if they want me to sleep and these fellows yet to have an heart attack now only? Morning you would have waited. If I do that and that fellow an event happens, it will be very bad later no, to what you feel. So that comfort about 3 o'clock the phone rings, you get up, you become your person in like 5 seconds, you dress up, you go do it. It comes because of certain mold. I'm not saying that every night I have to get up. Maybe it happens today, but when it happens, this training matters. That you have it in you, otherwise don't take the profession. Become a dermatologist. There is no emergency other than Stephen Johnson syndrome. Relax. Okay, but if you are up for it, if you want to make it, only when you work harder or do something, you should love it. I don't go I wish I could express you more personally, but I can't because you can't enter the gap there. At 4 a.m., it's not me, even Purushottam brother, who is a cat technician, Melvin, Akshay, whoever is part of our team, they are nurses or ATO technicians, they are not doctors. But all of us will be like this, and we'll be doing something with broad concentration, and because there's no, sorry friends, left side Allah, shat. We can't do that. So one air bubble is the chronometer, so will arrest on table. A normal person will arrest. One air bubble. But air bubble goes into the IV is actually okay. It's only the movies. Nothing happens. It won't cause pulmonary embolism. But if you have slightest errors from that time to work at that level, you need good training. So you should be happy that PU is done here. In fact, one day when you become wise enough, you realize I'm gambling too much here. You should actually wish that PUC was 3 years. So you'll be molded better. Now don't say that because I said this, regulations will change and all, not that. If that Christmas was not there, everything would have been better, no? But it will be like, in Trivandrum Medical College, I did my BA, it's a government college, 550 OPD per day. People come only cardiology, 550 cardiology. People come and after you have to do 1 year bond for the Kerala government. They will do a lot of angio and angioplasties, so it becomes like we can do it very comfortably. There are people, the first ranker, Dr. Nishant Sagar, who is giving online my bachelor. I got a 21st in CD, but I got a 23rd for the Kerala entrance. It was a time when we used to give multiple entrances. We used to fly to Gujarat, Calcutta, Delhi and right. Now at least there is need, it's much better, I used to give some, I was the national faculty for breast bladder in 2021. Nishant Sagar, my bachelor has continued through the years. Till now, he's a marrow, he teaches cardiology classes. So he is a very unique guy. He is actually an agnostic. So he is not either he is not atheist or religious figure. Some people are very eccentric and very peaceful. When there is so much of communal fight between is it Christianity or Muslim or Hindu and you should find peace and all. There are people who are atheists who say that I don't believe in God. You people decide what you want to let me know later. And there is Nishant Sagar, who is one level later, who is an agnostic. He has not decided whether there is God or not, whether he needs to believe or not. So he asks questions like, can God create a stone heavy enough that God only cannot lift it? If he cannot create the stone, he is not God. If he cannot lift it, he is not God. So that is a common thing, but he asks questions like that. Silly fellow. But he is very good because he got the first rank in the entrance that year. And he is the guy who chose to do 1 extra year of bond voluntarily in government college Trivandrum. And I can't be making stories like this because it's happened. So all the medical people aspiring here, they say 1 year bond, if they say John has 2 years of bond, you say, what bond? There are people who are really talented and they opt for one. Why would a person want 1 year of bond? Because bond is a misnomer. You do a bond in the right place, like James Bond. You do a bond in the right place. A bond can be really good. The bond can be really good. In the sense, you can actually get better skills. So likewise, if expert were to consider making 1 year. And the final thing is celebration. The ABCs of Christmas, I'll take another 1 minute. The anticipation, the boy Jesus, and the celebration. Celebration is a very fixed thing, and each one has their own. You need not tie things and light fireworks to celebrate. Having contentment, if not joy and peace, is actually celebration. Now, Jesus Christ's name is still now, he is happy that what he did has an effect. People are good enough. Same thing for all the gods and all the, all the religions try to convey the same thing. You guys all say happy. then what we did is enough. Now, if you get a nice rank and if your parents are happy for you, that is great enough. I only have a little discontentment that my dad used to be a very huge encourager that you should do this and every minute of your time is worth so much and all in person secondary. And he said that once you become very successful, it will be, then you will realize what I am saying now makes a lot of, my dad is telling me. And now that I personally feel, not just that, I personally that I am quite content, quite successful, able to support, very comfortable in all ways. But I feel that my dad has only seen from heaven that things are going well. So that side of discontentment I have. I mean, mom is saying mom is happy, and family around is happy and things like that. Finally, I also achieved a great milestone of getting married, and things are good. But you will always feel that when the people who hope in you are around you, if you don't live up to it, no, then you feel that is the lack of celebration. I'm not asking you to carry the burden of parental pressure. It should come from you. But again, as a byproduct, if people are proud of you, it is more than your rank. If Jesus Christ's message of being peaceful, keeping anticipation, and following some guidelines of hard work manifests in the generations to come, he is happy. He doesn't want you to cut the cake and sing jingle bells. You can, as a byproduct. In the same way, if you get a rank, you are very happy. But if you have a very good molded life, experts will be very happy that it's produced enough experts. That's it. Thank you. One interruption, nothing has changed. You come to expert, then you reading material.
Merry Christmas, everyone. It's my misfortune. I consider it a misfortune having to speak after Dr. Joseph Pinto. He spoke so eloquently. He's a cardiologist. He knows heart in a little sense. He knows the heart of Christmas. And he has expounded that here. He also knows the heart of expert. So both hearts laid bare for you. Thank you. It's not an occasion to speak much. There are a few dances and songs to come up. So let me wish you. And thereafter, the most important part is a special lunch. Right. And, once again, let me wish Merry Christmas. Thank you.